evening. Is this on? Good evening. We'd like to call to order the official meeting of October 15th for the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education. If I could have a motion. Second. All those in favor? Aye. So we're have the official opportunity to begin our meeting with something very exciting tonight, and but we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please join us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mrs. Bauer. Welcome. Tonight's board meeting is among the most joyful, as this is the night that we celebrate our teachers and administrators who are achieving tenure. The Scotch Plains Fanwood Public School District is very proud of its teachers and administrators. Teaching is the one profession that creates all others. Teaching is complex, demanding, and essential work. It requires not only keen intellect, but also vast amounts of patience and resilience. Teachers need to know their subject matter, but equally how to communicate it so that others can understand. In a world that is constantly changing, teachers are the quintessential learners. In the words of John Cotton Dana, who dares to teach must never cease to learn. Teachers must have boundless energy and be ever optimistic. Often a teacher hardly knows of their influence or the impact until years later, if then. But then that influence or impact is part of their unspoken calling. We are also grateful for the support of you who are here tonight who cheer them on and support them, the families, mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, and your children. You share the teachers with us and with the students that they teach. And as they devote countless hours in preparation, your support makes all the difference. The 20 teachers and 2 administrators that we honor this evening have demonstrated that they have what it takes. We are thrilled that you have chosen to be part of this district and trust that you will be with us for many years to come, shaping the lives and inspiring many generations of students. Tonight, as we get to celebrate, I would like to thank Evergreen School Principal, Mrs. Colleen Hobart, for graciously allowing us to use her multi-purpose room and hosting tonight. And I would also like to acknowledge and thank our PTA Council and the PTA leadership for their support. They have generously supplied tonight's refreshments, so be sure to enjoy some cookies when we break them a little bit later. And now, as we begin to recognize our teachers, what we'll be doing is we'll be calling up each of the principals who will say a few words on behalf of the teachers. So principals, as you come up, please invite your teachers to the podium, and we'll move on with the evening. So tonight, we're going to start with Cole School, and I'd like to ask Karen Weatherall to come forward.
Good evening. I'd like to invite Tara Capel-Reese up with me. Tara is the reading recovery teacher and literacy group teacher at Cole School. She not only instills reading strategies in the children, she instills a level of confidence. By meeting students at their level and building on strengths, Tara is able to take a non-reading child on the journey to becoming a reader. Watching a child decode words and putting those words together to make the meaning of print is something I will never get tired of. Tara makes that happen. In her classroom, students work hard and students struggle, but students read. While each works with Tara, she makes them feel like a rock star, applying what they know to figure out what they don't know. Her positive cheering and encouraging never ends and never wavers. Tara also brings his positive personality outside the classroom to every corner of Cole School. She provides support to teachers by being a strong member of the INRS committee and has a long list of strategies and interventions in her bag of tricks. She works magic with the students and is truly deserving of the tenure she has earned. Congratulations, Matt. Our school nurse, Chris Cappadocia, was unable to make it tonight, but I'd like to say a couple words about her. Chris serves as the school nurse for Coles School. Her office is a busy one, and she is a master multitasker. The phone rings, parents come to the door, students need medical attention, and she conducts mandated health screenings all at the same time. Chris's ability to put students at ease is another strength. Students who come to the nurse, either for real or not so real issues, are made to feel comfortable and their complaints are listened to with an open ear. Those not so real issues are quickly addressed with kindness and comfort, and students are quickly returned to class. Those real issues are addressed with professionalism and student well-being as a priority. Mrs. Cappadocia is an integral part of the office staff, as well as the staff as a whole. During the active mornings, she's quick to lend a hand assisting the visitors in the main office. Whether answering the phone, greeting a parent, writing a late pass for a student, Ms. Cappadocia does it with a smile and assuring kindness. Mrs. Cappadocia is the kind of person parents want looking after their elementary child during the day. Her warm personality puts everyone at ease. She is an asset to the school and deserves the tenure that she has earned.
And now I'd like to call Mr. Scott Bortnicka, principal of Brunner School.
Good evening, everybody. Board members, thank you for having such a wonderful night to celebrate tenure. It's such a huge milestone for teachers and something that deserves an event like this where we can recognize the trials and challenges that teachers overcome to obtain their tenure. So thank you very much for continuing this wonderful tradition. I have two amazing people to talk about tonight. I'd like to call Amber Jarrett and Maya Salas to join me. Amber is a pre-K teacher at Brunner School, and as a science teacher myself and former science supervisor in district, I've seen tons of science lessons. I can easily say that two of the best that I've ever seen happened in a pre-K class with 4-year-olds. One was a physics lesson involving the use of terms like fulcrum, and another one was a lesson focused on natural selection with 4-year-olds. And just teaching those topics by themselves, you might think, well, that seems kind of crazy to teach the 4-year-olds, but Amber has an amazing gift at being able to engage students with that kind of content in a way that makes sense for 4-year-olds. So with the fulcrum, for example, she had 3 boxes of varying weights and told the kids that she needed to bring them down to the office and she needed help with doing that, and how could they do it and how could they lift them, and the kids tried to lift them and they worked together and they did all these things, and then she introduced a lever to them and a fulcrum and asked them about where they put the fulcrum to get it to work, and by the end of the lesson the kids were lifting Amber up on this 8-foot plank, 3 and 4-year-old kids, and it was, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. There's not a part of her classroom that is not really engaging and amazing to see kids go through. The walls speak volumes about the work that she does and the work that her kids produce, and it's just an absolute honor to have her at Brunner and to have her in the district. And I said yesterday we were at Rutgers together for a research project, and I told the people there that when I have tough meetings, the best place for me to go to feel better and grounded is in Amber's room, because it's just such a wonderful, student-centered, and beautiful place to be. So thank you, Amber. Congratulations. Mrs. Rabibis from Park asked me to speak of Maya as both a Park and Brunner teacher, and I refused to do that because I don't want to consider Maya as not a Brunner teacher, and I don't want anybody to think of her as anything but a Brunner teacher. She is an unbelievably gifted world language teacher. She is taught at the high school level. She now teaches at Brunner exclusively. She occasionally makes cameos at Park. She engages students. She is dynamic. She is exciting. She is a kid magnet, and kids enjoy being with her. They look forward to coming to Spanish. This year she's working with second graders. They've never been to a Spanish class. They've never spoken a word of Spanish. They've never engaged in it for the most part in that way, and she speaks almost exclusively Spanish to them, and the kids are there with her. They sing, they dance, they move around. It is a total body kinesthetic experience of learning Spanish, and it is an absolute joy and privilege to watch her work and to learn what great pedagogy looks like, regardless of the content that's being taught, because Maya demonstrates that on a regular basis. So congratulations.
And now I'd like to call up Mrs. Colleen Hober, principal of Evergreen School.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all the teachers on achieving the great accomplishment of tenure. I'd like to invite our honoree, Jessica Pressman, to join me. It is my great pleasure to say a few words about Evergreen's Jessica Pressman, who earned her tenure in March of 2015. Mrs. Pressman is a valued member of our special education team. From day one, her instructional practice has been marked with dedication, passion, and excellent instructional strategies. As her colleagues reflected on working with Jessica, they shared some of her key characteristics. Jessica is the most organized person I know. She is always willing to help and to listen. As a new member of the team, Jessica has been my lifesaver, diligent in making certain I was acclimated to the culture and structure of our school. I have learned a lot from Jessica over the years. I have had the benefit of team teaching with Jessica, and I admire how she manages to juggle 3 young children and her teaching career. None of these comments surprise me, Jessica, as I have been witness to your willingness to collaborate, your generosity in sharing knowledge and ideas, and your dedication and perseverance to providing our students the most enriched learning experiences possible. You have shown leadership in many areas of our school life, particularly as a member of our INRS team. Author Nikos Kazantzakis wrote, "True teachers are those who use themselves as bridges over which they invite their students to cross. Then, having facilitated their crossing, joyfully collapse, encouraging them to build their own." I want to thank you, Jessica, for being that true teacher for our students and in many ways for our faculty. On behalf of the faculty and students of Evergreen, I congratulate you on achieving tenure. I look forward to continuing our journey together and know the best is yet to come.
And now I'd like to call up Dr. Sasha Slocum, principal of McGinn School.
Good evening, everybody, and I'd also like to echo my colleagues' comments about this evening. This is such a special evening, and I thank the Board of Ed for continuing this tradition. We have 3 wonderful teachers to honor tonight from McGinn. I'd like to welcome Ms. Lynna Tweeten to come up. I know that our other 2 teachers are not going to be here this evening, but I'd like to say a few words about them as Ms. Tweeten is coming up too. So Kelly Pantano is a first grade teacher who is one of the kindest people you will ever meet. She emanates warmth and comfort to her students. She's very creative. She has them investigating all of the time in every subject area. And she will call the lesson a language arts lesson, yet students will be exploring nonfiction texts about many different scientific concepts and just come up with remarkable pieces of writing as a result of their research. She's a very creative a very creative teacher. She just went out 2 days ago on maternity leave, so we are very, very happy for her that she's also expecting her first child. So that's Kelly. Nicole Short is a teacher in our multiple disabilities class, grades 2 to 4. She is just remarkable. She started with our school as a resource room teacher where she taught every single grade, and she came in the middle of the year. She went to every single teacher to find out what she needed to know about the curriculum in order to make sure that her students were successful in their classes, in their general education classes, as a teacher of students with multiple disabilities, which is technically a self-contained class. Since she has been the teacher, she has advocated for every single one of her students to be integrated in academic subjects within our school, and every single student is. She finds a way. She's a remarkable teacher. She has taught many of our teachers strategies on how to help students with special needs within their classrooms, and she's just a joy to have working with us. As is our wonderful Lynna Tweeten. Ms. Tweeten is a supplemental teacher at our school. She teaches reading and math to students who are struggling. The first word that popped into my head, and I know many people's head when I thought of her, was sunshine. She is pure sunshine, and you can see the smile right there. That's the way she goes through the halls. That's the way she greets every single child, every single teacher. And one of her colleagues who's here tonight, and I know her colleagues agree with that, call her just the most flexible and giving person in our school. She really is. When you ask her, oh, we have something coming up today, can we move this schedule? It's, of course we can, sure, we can, no problem. It's always with a smile. It's not a sure, we can do that type of response, which we all usually fall to every once in a while when it means that we're going to have to disrupt our schedule. So she is always willing to do whatever it takes to make it work for the child and for the teacher, which just is a very successful combination. And I just want to add, I think it's very apropos that Tara from Coles is also earning her tenure tonight, because they did a remarkable research project on reading and improved our reading strategies based upon the work that they did. So it's my honor to congratulate you from the beginning.
And now I'd like to call out Mr. Justin Fiore, principal of School 1.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone who received tenure this evening. At this time, I'd like to welcome up Meredith Sacco. So it's a pleasure for me to speak on Meredith's behalf here. She's a true asset to our building. The first thing that I'd like to talk about Meredith is not only is she a wonderful teacher, but she's an amazing colleague. You'll see there's a number of staff members here with her this evening. But as a principal, do you have those days that you wonder why you're a principal? And there's some difficult times, but Meredith has this way of, I don't know if it's making fun of me sometimes, but making me laugh and making me have a good time. And she really just relaxes me, and she's kind of the person I go to when I need to just calm down a little bit and not take things so serious. She really has a knack for that. But in the classroom, she is second to none. She does an unbelievable job with the children. Each and every day they walk out of their classroom with a smile on their face. She has a sense of the difference between disciplining a student and becoming their friend, and really balances that nicely. Along with being a first grade teacher, she also works with our fourth grade students in our I-Squared program. Really does an outstanding job with them, and she's been an amazing asset to our building, and I'm looking forward to working with her for years to come. Congratulations, Meredith.
Now I'd like to bring up Mrs. Lisa Rivendis, principal of Park Middle School.
I have the honor of recognizing 4 of Park's wonderful teachers. If they could please come up: Nicholas Ellis, Alex Hofer, Emily Litz, and Brittany Farah. administrators, we're charged with many tasks. I think the most important thing that we do beyond working with children is hiring teachers. And these 4 teachers here that are standing in front of you weren't on the 3+1 day tenure track plan. It's actually very funny. Each one of them served as a leave replacement teacher prior to getting into tenure track positions. It's one of these situations where when you see teachers teach and you see the passion, the love, and the commitment they have for children, you gravitate to them as an administrator and try to keep them in district as much as possible. So Nick started as a leave at Park, then he went over to Terrell, and then he came back home. And I say back home because Nick also went to Park Middle School. And he's an excellent musician, and he shares his musical gifts with all of the students and all of us. And he doesn't know this, but the other day, my office is right across from the auditorium, and I heard this wonderful music coming out of the auditorium. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this kid playing? And I looked through the window, and it was Nick. And I just smiled, and I walked away because I, A, didn't want to embarrass you, but B, I just thought to myself how lucky we are as a school and as a district to have you working with us and our children. So I'm very glad that you made it back home to Park, and I congratulate you on your tenure. Next is Emily Litz. Emily used to be Pollard, and she turned Litz this summer, so I'm still getting used to it. But Emily, too, served as a 5th grade leave replacement, and she's now a 5th grade teacher at Park. Emily brings an enthusiasm and love for teaching, working with her colleagues and making sure that any teacher that she works with is welcome in the classroom. She's team taught all of her years at Park, and she's worked with some wonderful children and had some really challenging situations, and she's managed them all with grace and with a great deal of commitment to the students and the parents, and involving the family as much as possible in their learning. We're glad that she's a part of our 5th grade team. She's one of our anchors and moving us forward and really strategizing to do what's best for kids. So I'm glad you're with us. Congratulations on achieving tenure. Alex is a 6th grade social studies teacher. As I said, was a leave replacement as well. And Alex, when you go into his classroom, you enter a different world. I experienced technology firsthand with Alex in the classroom, with students using Google Classroom before Google Classroom was in our district. He's one of our pioneers in technology. Students working collaboratively with one another, using Google and sharing their work, working at the same time, and Alex giving them immediate feedback while they were working, and talking to them and probing them and asking these insightful questions that get kids to inquire more. He's one of those teachers that challenge you as a principal because you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I need to learn more. And in a great way, he makes you want to be better. For me as a principal and also for the students. So I'm so excited with the 4 of you. You've made Park, all 4 of you, a better place to be. So Alex, congratulations. So Signorina Faro, she teaches Italian at Park, and I was talking about her the other day to a teacher, and I said, Brittany has this skill to make a classroom of 42 minutes come alive and use the language that you're learning from beginning to end in a meaningful context. When you look at Brittany teach, you learn so much instructionally, but you also learn Italian. And we all know my hidden secret is that I want to learn Italian and move to Italy and someday in my life, and Brittany will be my personal tutor for that. But one of the most impressive things that I've seen Brittany do is teach our multiply disabled students how to speak Italian. And if you can imagine walking into a classroom, I was observing another teacher and Brittany came in, and she came in and their faces changed. And it was as if they put on little Italian caps or something, and they looked at her and they said, ciao, and they started speaking with her, and it was It was the most amazing experience to see these students that have trouble communicating verbally, communicating in Italian, just in such a beautiful way, and it's the gifts that Brittany has given them. And I'm very proud, as a former world language supervisor, that you are embracing all children learning languages, because we all know that they can. Congratulations.
Now I'd like to call up Dr. Kevin Holloway, principal of Terrell Middle School.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to everyone so far in their tenure. So I'd like to call forward Danielle Holbert, Karen Lambo, and Kel Thompson. So the universe has billions of stars, and some burn fervently while others just hang there and fizzle out. And each of them has been a shining star for the past 3 years. So Danielle, you have ignited a mathematical spark in the lives of children. Each day they walk into your classroom and they experience that big bang. And you have moonwalked your way into their lives. As if you don't know, Danielle's an amazing moonwalker. And so to Karen Lambo, your genuine care for kids, your compassion, your knowledge of healthcare and people's overall well-being has touched those dim stars, and you have reignited them. And to Kel Thompson, the music man, it is a hard knock life. The sun will always come out tomorrow. And sometimes it really is a tale as old as time. So I wasn't going to sing it, but so I try to put a little rhythm to it. But your love for music has paved the way for future stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And so each of you, I know that you'll continue to burn brightly. Today you join a galactic force that is in the pursuit of brightening the lives of every child in Scotch Plains and Vanwood. So congratulations on your tenure.
Now I'd like to call up Dr. David Heisey, principal of Scotch Plains Vanwood High School.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Hayes. If I could have Rebecca DiBerenza, Megan Whitesides, and Amanda Moser come up. Okay, so we'll start with, we have two social studies teachers up here and a school counselor. So we'll start with the two social studies teacher, Rebecca DiBerenza and Megan Whitesides. So we're pleased to have both Ms. Whitesides and Ms. DiBerenza as members of our faculty in our social studies department. They are both innovative and creative in their approach to teaching. This year, Ms. Whitesides facilitates the Global Perspectives course as well as the United States History 2 course. And Ms. DiBerenza teaches United States History 1 and 2, along with a course entitled Racism, Genocide, and Holocaust. And there are numerous other courses within the social studies department with which they certainly possess the expertise to teach, and I'm sure someday they probably will. Their classes are challenging, interesting, provocative, and provide our students with a foundation for being productive citizens of the world. Both Ms. Whitesides and Ms. DiBerenza create a positive, open environment in their classroom while setting high expectations for their students. Ms. Whitesides is our dance team advisor, and she also volunteers her time and works with our students in the Habitat for Humanity Club. Ms. DiBerenza has served as the faculty liaison for the high school PTA. She currently serves as the superintendent's liaison committee and is also a member of the high school curriculum committee. So congratulations to Rebecca and Megan on earning tenure. So next we have Amanda Moser. Amanda Moser, as I indicated at the start, is a school counselor. Ms. Moser is a graduate of Scotch Plains Fanwood High School. I think I was your principal, right? Yeah. Okay. And she began her career as a special education teacher at the high school, at Scotch Plains Fanwood High School. After receiving her master's degree in school counseling, we were fortunate that a spot opened up in our counseling department. Mrs. Moser was an outstanding teacher, and she is a superb counselor. Her skills and knowledge are a perfect fit for our students. She's compassionate and caring, and assists students in finding their way. She is a career coach, a therapist at times, an expert in scheduling students, and an asset to the counseling department and the school in many other respects. Mrs. Moser continues to be active, as well as the other two teachers I introduced this evening. She was a longtime advisor of the Student Government Association, the SGA, when she was a special ed teacher, and she now is the co-advisor of the senior class. So she's in charge of many things, including the senior prom. So, congratulations to the three high schools.
And now I'd like to call up Dr. Ted Kozlik, who is our Interim Director of Special Services.
Good evening. May I please have Mrs. Rockland? I'm distinguished in a lot of ways. I've been around a long time, and Lauren actually has tenure already as a special education teacher and a general education teacher. Has been at Park Middle School for about 10 years, right?
15 years, 17 years. Many years.
Doesn't hardly look like it, but I'm sort of graced to work with her because she's a really bright, young, competent person who I would have assess my own children and my grandchildren as well. So, do your best. Mr. Rockland.
And now I would like to call up Dr. Joan Nast.
Good evening and congratulations to everyone who's being recognized tonight. I'd like to call up Kate Rosander. It is my privilege to personally congratulate Kate this evening. It is not the first time that Kate has reached this level of achievement. First, Kate received tenure as a middle school mathematics teacher, though she started in the district as a 5th grade teacher. Next, as the elementary instructional coach, and now as the elementary supervisor of state, federal, and special programs. She's on her way to the Guinness Book of Records of receiving tenure. No matter what challenge Kate is asked to handle, she rises to the occasion and often goes beyond expectations. She came to the district with strong leadership skills and an impressive knowledge of effective teaching. As a new teacher, even before she started, she facilitated a very impressive session for teachers in the district's first Math Academy. She continues to do amazing work for students of our district every day. I am often left in awe by the quality of her work, the depth of her passion for students she serves, and her ability to attend to the details. She almost rivals Dr. Hayes in that category. The district has benefited from Kate's leadership in numerous areas, and every administrator is appreciative of her supportive guidance. She helped us on the voyage to the land of Park last year, and that's enough said, but Kate was really a lifesaver for all of us. Kate always gives 200% to all areas of her responsibility, and sometimes this quality gets her home a little late in the evening. I want to give a special thanks to Kylie and Connor, who are here tonight. Kate's son and daughter, and also to Kevin for sharing their mom and his wife with us. Also, I want to thank Kevin. Kevin, you get 2 thank yous. Your collective support of Kate's work helps all of the students of Scotch Plains Fan Wood. My sincere thanks to Kate and congratulations.
And now it is my pleasure to call up Mrs. Debbie Saradaki. Debbie Saradaki is more than worthy of tenure. In her years as our business administrator, she has taken on a myriad of building projects, from roofing to reappointing of bricks, from HVAC to asbestos to windows. I don't think there's any part of a building that Mrs. Saradaki doesn't understand. I knew she was a keeper the day she climbed up on the roof to check on the HVACs at the high school. This is just going above, literally, and beyond. Equally, she's amazing at planning and balancing budgets. You all know we live in the land of 2% caps. I have never seen anybody be able to find and squeeze out of the dollar as much as Debbie Saradaki can. Vendors beware. She will find you, she will hunt you down, and she will make sure we get the very best pricing on everything. Most importantly, she works well with everyone, whether it's a custodian, a maintenance worker, an aide, a teacher, an administrator. She treats everyone with unparalleled respect. Her calm demeanor amidst all that goes on in central office keeps us all centered. Now, she really is here almost 24 hours a day. People think at times that I don't have a home to go to. Debbie Saradaki has outlasted me on many nights. Her secret weapon, I think, is her husband, who's here tonight, Ed. I know this because at times I will find Ed dropping off the evening meal at 10 o'clock because Debbie is still here. Mr. Del Sorte used to threaten me with saying I was upping the electric bill at the board office by staying so late. Debbie has quadrupled it. Nevertheless, she works tirelessly, and if we were to try to pay her by the hour, we couldn't afford her. Most importantly, Debbie understands education, and that's a compliment that few business administrators get. She does all that she can on behalf of keeping our students and our district focused on education. She teases us by having a button on her desk that says no, but in reality, Debbie is the queen of yes. She will always find a way to make it work. There's never been a time when I've come to her and said, can we figure out a way that she doesn't creatively respond, and always with a smile and an incredible positive demeanor. So Debbie, we're very fortunate to have you, and I know you'll be with us for many, many years to come. Congratulations. And now I'd like to call up our board president, Mrs. Bauer. Our recipients have received resolutions, but the board is the only group that can convey a resolution. So Mrs. Bauer, if you'd mind, come on up.
Before I read the official resolution, I just wanted to add congratulations on behalf of the entire board. And in preparation for this evening, I was thinking, and I have a fascination with where words come from. And the word tenure comes from to hold in Latin. And so because of all the things that have been said about the tenured teachers and administrators is why we want to hold on to you and have you with us for many years to come. So, officially, whereas the mission of the Scotch Plains Fanwood Public Schools is to educate and empower our community of individual learners to be successful citizens of the world. And whereas the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education will always expect exceptional performance by staff, will always hire only the most qualified candidates, and will promote the maximum performance and achievement of every student and staff member. Whereas the following teachers and administrators recognized this evening are deserving of receiving tenure in Scotch Plains Fanwood Public Schools this year, now therefore be it resolved that the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education recognizes and congratulates these newly tenured teachers and administrators, and offers our support and best wishes as they continue to diligently work with our students in the Scotch Plains Fanwood Public Schools. And I'd like to ask for a motion to pass this resolution. So moved. Second, all those in favor, I know they're going to all say yes. Aye. Okay, congratulations. Again, I'd like to call up Mrs. Cleary, who's Vice President of the Board, to recognize our principals.
Yes, I would actually like to ask the principals to please come up and join us in the front. Thank you. I feel so fortunate to be able to read this. We have such a talent pool right here, and we couldn't do any of those work in this district without you. So, whereas the National Association of Secondary School Principals and the National Association of the Elementary School Principals have declared the month of October 2015 as National Principals Month. And whereas the principals in the Scotch Plains Fanwood Public Schools are educational visionaries, instructional and assessment leaders, disciplinarians, community builders, budget analysts, facilities managers, and administrators of legal and contractual obligations. And whereas our principals work collectively with teachers and parents to develop and implement a clear mission, high curriculum standards, and performance goals, they create school environments that facilitate great teaching and learning and continuous school improvement. And whereas our principals are responsible for the safety of their students and staff and the security of the school. They maintain school climates which reflect a philosophy of discipline that includes setting high standards, providing the support students need, and demanding the best of them. And whereas our principals lead the way in making schools accountable to students, parents, the community, and other stakeholders. Each principal is responsible for fostering a dynamic partnership between the community and the school in order to create a positive learning environment for students. And whereas the month of October has been declared National Principals Month and is dedicated to recognizing the significant contributions of our nation's principals and the enthusiasm they have for providing quality educational experiences and guidance to their students. And whereas the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education recognizes and appreciates the skills, dedication, and commitment of the Scotch Plains Fanwood principals and the challenges they face daily. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education recognizes and commends the contributions of our school principals. Dr. David Heisey, Mrs. Lisa Rabimbus, Dr. Kevin Holloway, Mr. Scott Bortnick, Dr. Karen Weatherall, Mrs. Colleen Holbert, Dr. Sasha Slocum, and Mr. Justin Fiore for their continued service to our children. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's official. Moved.
I'd also like to make a commercial announcement. Mrs. Pat Kane, who is the hostess with the mostest back there, reminds me that the beautiful mums are for sale. So see her if you're interested, and no, we don't make a profit. And last but not least, my secretary, Ann Oliveira, will not forgive me if I allow the newly tenured staff to escape without the annual photo. So, as the board makes its way to the back, will all of the newly tenured staff please come to the front so Mrs. Oliveira can take the official portrait. Thank you all very much, and congratulations once again.